And welcome back to Who Would Win. And today's Who Would Win comes to us from Charnel Adams, who asked the question, who would win a fight, the Look-See from Crypt TV versus the Bye Bye Man from the aforementioned Bye Bye Man movie? Well, not from aforementioned, but you know what I mean. Movie of the same name. Both are supernatural creatures, but both are very different in how they approach things. The Look-See is essentially sort of like not a revenge demon. It's a demon of it is portrayed as a demonic entity of some kind that essentially goes after people who are holding on to things like regret, and things along those lines. It targets people who can't. I believe it's the term is you must release. So basically, you need to get rid of the thing that you're lamenting on, that you are harboring feelings of regret over. And if you can do that, you can keep it at bay at minimum. What it is never truly specified. It's believed to be a demon, and it can make more of itself. It can turn other people into other versions of itself, but ultimately it is usually like a solo artist that just works alone. In terms of how deadly it is, well, it kills or maims just about anyone it comes in contact with, including people who it's not targeting. It has very sharp claws, very sharp teeth. It's capable, kind of a teleportation. It's capable of just kind of showing up and then disappearing. But in terms of actually hunting you down, it does walk around. So it does seem to abide by the laws of the physical body it takes place in. But in terms of getting towards the target it's after, and in terms of appearing in the area, it will just appear, kind of a Jason style. Oh, sorry. A little bit better. That's a little better. Sorry, a little fuzzy. The Look-See, it can also be hurt. It's been shown that it can actually be hurt in some of the other medias. Not necessarily killed, but you can injure it and keep it at bay with just physical damage. The Bye Bye Man is kind of a boogeyman-esque specter. Essentially, I believe the tagline is "Don't think it, don't say it." Don't say the Bye Bye Man. If you don't think about the Bye Bye Man or talk about the Bye Bye Man, he more or less doesn't. He has no power. He technically doesn't exist. He only comes into existence more or less when you start to say his name, spread the word around, like a virus, really. And think about him. You think about it with him, he starts to affect you, and in the way that he affects you, he causes mass hallucinations, starts to kind of mess with your reality a little bit. Not in the sense that he can just snap his fingers and Thanos the world at a whim or anything like that, but in the sense that your perception of the world, that he's just torturing you psychologically. Now you can resist, sure, but no one in the movies was ever able to, or movies, no one in the movie was ever able to overcome him in terms of nope, doesn't work on me. No, we were puppets to him. Now, what he is, it's really hard to distinguish. Again, he's somewhat kind of boogeyman-esque specter kind of demon thing. Let's get the Bye Bye Man back up here real quick. In terms of the villains wiki and things along those lines right here. So the Bye Bye Man it's a demonic boogeyman-like figure of unknown origin who will stalk and kill anyone that thinks or says his name. In terms of how he does it, well, I mean, what is the powers? Inducing nightmares, visions in his victims, sickness inducement, chaos inducement, illusion, trickery, murder. Murder's not a power or skill. What the hell is that listed as? Teleportation, speed, madness inducement, power, and dark powers. It comes off basically that, yeah, he can kind of impose somewhat of a sickness, but that's probably due to mental state and how your mental state can affect your physical health. So it's not likely that he really does anything physical to hurt you. It's more that he's just messing with. It's almost like Lovecraftian in that sense. How in a lot of Lovecraft stories, what ends up killing you is frankly your own mental state. You can't mentally handle what's going on, so you go insane and possibly just die from insanity. That's kind of what he does to his victims. So the question here is, who wins? The boogeyman-like demonic figure of the Bye Bye Man, who's kind of a specter but kind of not only kind of comes into being if you know about him, or the Look-See monster, which again, in some regard, it's still a demonic entity monster of some kind, but it's much more of a physical threat than the Bye-Bye Man is. So I mean, it has superhuman strength, it has teleportation, telepathy, when it can sense suffering or guilt. It has telekinesis to move out strength. See, this is a really odd battle to put up, because this isn't like how, say, like a Freddy versus, I don't know, Leatherface. I haven't done that fight yet, but at some point I'll probably get to it. Would go down, where Freddy's not targeting Leatherface. They just happen to cross. Oh no, actually no. Better yet, the Pennywise versus Freddy Krueger scenario. There's two scenarios, but the one that happened was were Jason versus Pennywise. Pennywise versus some villain, as an example, where they don't run into each other chasing after the same people when the fight happens. That's not going to work, because it's not, the Bye-Bye Man can appear, but I think it seems very likely that he only appears to the people who he's already affecting. So if the Look-See is chasing someone, he's not going to notice the Bye-Bye Man unless he is aware of other supernatural entities in the area besides himself. And we don't know if has those abilities or not. As far as we can tell, he doesn't have enhanced senses or anything like that would let him know that. So it's impossible to say that he would know the Bye-Bye Man was there. The way that this fight could go down, and is probably the only reasonable way to go down, that it goes down, is as the Look-See is about to kill his next victim, the victim starts to talk about you're the Bye-Bye, you're the Bye-Bye Man. And by putting the idea of the Bye-Bye Man inside the Look-See's head, be it supernatural or not, it gives Bye-Bye Man the ability to appear to the Look-See monster. So by that definition, that fight, or definition of the scenario, that fight can kind of go down now. Especially if the Bye-Bye Man is still, or the Look-See is still chasing other Bye-Bye Man victims. So in that sense, when next time Bye-Bye Man is about to take, for someone to kill themselves or whatever, the Look-Sees comes in, and then they suddenly confront each other, and now they're aware of each other's existence. At least Look-See's aware of Bye-Bye. Bye-Bye was probably aware of Look-See. And in that scenario, what happens? Can the Bye-Bye Man induce psychosis into the Look-See? These are two very different media. One's a movie, one's like a TV series. It's really hard to say, because we haven't seen the Look-See go up against other supernatural entities very much. Powers and skills, though, include for him, like murder methods. That's skills, I suppose. Brute strength, brainwashing, shape-shifting, mutilation. That's skill, really? Come on, guys. Telekinesis, durability, manipulation, and various demonic powers. It's a tough call, because from a physical perspective, I'd go Look-See, because there's nothing physical about the Bye-Bye Man's methods, whereas the Look-See very much likes to mutilate and and eviscerate. But the Bye-Bye Man's methods could be very effective if the Look-See is not. If the Look-See is susceptible to something like mental manipulation. So if these two meet in a fight, the Look-See there'll probably be a standoff, and then the Bye-Bye Man will start to probably influence Look-See to make him kind of go crazy. The problem is that, as far as we know, we don't know how old the Bye-Bye Man is in terms of an entity, but we know the Look-See has been around as early as the 1930s. So he's at least by these modern day standards, now almost 100 years old. Whereas the Bye-Bye Man, we don't actually know the age of the Bye-Bye Man in terms of how long the Bye-Bye Man's been around. But you can probably get the idea that he's also been around a while. Let me see here. If we got okay, 1969. Okay, so in 1969, at least the history of the Bye-Bye Man. In 1969, a teenage boy massacres his family members. When he was apprehended, he claims the Bye-Bye Man made him do it. That implies, though, that the Bye-Bye Man has probably been around longer than 1969. Now, again, we could make an argument that they're both entities of roughly the same age, give or take. So that puts us roughly in the 90-year mark, near its century-old entity for both of these guys. In terms of the way that they're portrayed, though, I might argue that Bye-Bye Man's a little older, so he might have a bit more experience dealing with other entities. Maybe. But then again, we don't know if other entities really exist in his world. If he exists, there's probably other entities that exist as well. But again, it all comes down to who's going to be able to influence / hurt the other first. If he starts to influence Luxie, I imagine that even if he can influence Luxie is going to be resistant on some level to him, because he is also a demonic figure of some kind. So as soon as Luxie realizes that he's trying to influence him, he's just going to go straight for the Bye-Bye Man's throat. But the problem is both these guys have teleportation and speed and things along those lines. But because of the type of being he is, I think the Bye-Bye Man is going to just be harder to hit, because he'll just poof out of existence from, trying to be hit by a physical assault. Whereas Luxie can get out of there, but he's more inclined to physically hang around. So it's going to be, again, Bye-Bye Man trying his best to manipulate and hurt Luxie mentally, whereas Luxie is trying his best to physically hurt Bye-Bye Man. Now, that being said, I have to believe that Luxie could probably get some sort of, get an attack in on him. Even while he's being, mentally tortured or whatever. And maybe he gets a slash on him. Now, would a slash hurt Bye-Bye Man? Because we don't actually see him get hurt at all, we can't be certain. I have to believe, though, that he could still be susceptible to pain if an entity of comparable strength would be there to hurt him. So yeah, maybe Luxie gets a hit in. I could feel confident he could get one hit in. And by getting one hit in, I think he does something to Bye-Bye Man that the Bye-Bye Man doesn't anticipate. He hurts Bye-Bye Man. And the Bye-Bye Man's not used to being physically hurt. So by doing that, Bye-Bye Man's influence on Luxie starts to wane, and Luxie can now focus more in on the Bye-Bye Man and just start attacking him again. Bye-Bye Man might try to get away, but all the while Luxie's probably holding on. He's like, no, you're not going anywhere. Bye-Bye Man tries to, force his influence point blank range on him, and it's working to extent. It's pretty much just, can I tear you apart before you mentally destroy me? That's what it is. So ultimately, who do I think wins the fight? I'll probably have to go with Bye-Bye Man. And the reason for that is he's not really a physical entity in the sense that the Luxie is. Because the Luxie, we know, has been hit before, has been hurt before by other normal people. Whereas the Bye-Bye Man, he's not that type of entity. He's kind of more, is just a spectral figure who takes a physical, if you will, form. But the problem is we just don't see if he can be physically affected by anything. Like if someone tries to swing at the Bye-Bye Man, is it going to hurt? Is he going to feel it? Are they going to make contact with him? We never see that in the movies. So it unfortunately means that we can't be certain if he has a true physical form, or is this just something we're seeing him take so we can visualize him. So because he probably doesn't have a true physical form, even though Luxie, I think, will probably be able to hurt him a bit, I think ultimately the influence of the Bye-Bye Man is going to kind of overtake and maybe blow Luxie's brains out, just in the sheer psychosis and stress that he's putting the Luxie under. But ultimately, this is a really awkward matchup to do, just because they're two very different type of entities. What do you think? Do you think the Bye-Bye Man is going to win like I think he does? Or do you think the Luxie figures out a way to actually end the Bye-Bye Man? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Like I said, I'm going Bye-Bye Man, but let me know your thoughts. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I got Lantern Corp tomorrow. See you next time. Have a good one.